save us from the fires of hell, and lead all souls to heaven, especially those in most need of thy mercy.
What's going on, Graveyard Shift family? It is your fearless shift leader, Dalen, clocked in for another amazing shift. I know what you're thinking, Dalen, your eyes are red. Have you been puffing on the devil's lettuce? No, I haven't, y'all. Y'all know I drug test here at the Graveyard Shift. Everybody gets drug tested, even your fearless shift leader. No, y'all, my eyes are red because I'm running off maybe 1 or 2 hours worth of sleep. It is 4:15 in the morning. I am leaving Atlanta, Georgia. And you're shifty. That's my new nickname, you're shifty. I'm your shifty. Your shifty is headed to Chicago, Illinois, y'all. Headed to Chicago, the Windy City. And I have a day full of activities. I'm gonna tell y'all what the itinerary in my head is. I'm trying to shoot 5 videos in Chicago. So our purpose for today is to meet a fellow shifter by the name of Sharon Rose. So y'all know how this works. You guys reach out to Chaz. You tell Chaz your story. Chaz reaches out to me. She doesn't really tell me too much about what's going on. She just tells me that I'm meeting somebody and where I'm headed. So I don't know the background story. I don't know the connection. I don't know anything about where we're going in Chicago to meet our fellow shifter. So this is the journey to get there. This will be the journey when we get to her. We will hear her story, and we will try to get her to listen, I'm giving it to him. I'm giving it to him. That's what filming in public looks like, y'all. But yeah, so I don't know any of the background story. My job is just to try to make a connection between our shifter and their loved ones. So yeah, here we go. Headed to Chicago. Oh, I'm gonna do that. Then I'm trying to shoot 2 other shifts, and I'm trying to shoot 2 food reviews all while I'm in the Chicago area. Y'all think I can do it? Y'all think I can make it happen? We gonna see. See you in Chicago. All right, Graveyard Shift family. After a 2-hour middle seat flight, your boy is officially in Chicago. I'm about to grab this rental car. I am sleepy. I'm about to grab this rental car, y'all. And we about to get to it. Let's see what Chi-Town has for us. Chicago. Why y'all didn't tell me how cold it was out here? Golly. That's all right. We got our vehicle. We got the silver bullet. We got it. Sharon Rose, don't you worry. Your fiercest shift leader, your fiercest shift leader is headed to you. Let's get to it, family. Y'all, what is up with y'all bringing me to y'all's city and it be nothing but fields? Every time. Everybody live by fields. Where are my PTOs that needed to be done in Hawaii, Miami, sunny Los Angeles? Look at this car speeding on down the street. Just letting y'all know where I am, y'all. Frankfort, Illinois. All right, family. We have journeyed miles and miles and miles to get here. This is the Rose Hill resting community. My retainer got caught in my mouth. My retainer got stuck. But here we are meeting one of our fellow shifters, Miss Sharon Rose. And she has someone that is resting here that she would like for us to connect with and contact. Again, I do not know any of the story attached to this case, but I'm going to try and to do my best to facilitate some sort of connection or conversation. But like we always do on these PTOs, anytime we come to a new resting community, we kind of like to just walk the grounds and just speak to everyone and just let them know our intentions. And y'all forgive me, today's a windy day. So I'm going to try to make this session, yeah, make sure that you can hear it as best as I can. All right. What's going on, Aaron? I've never seen Aaron spelled that way. What up, my guy? Aaron looked like he had a wonderful personality. What's up, brother? I hope you're resting well. Aaron. What's up, Darren? Aaron and Darren. That's beautiful. What's going on to the Heisner family? Carlson, Fred and Minnie. What's up, Zane family? Theodore, Rose, and William. What's up, everybody? My name is Dalen. I come in peace, love, and respect. How's it going, Miss Caroline? What's going on, John? The Ricks family. What up? What's up, Shweek family? We got Frank and Karen. Ed's back. We got Joseph Lee and Eileen Jean. Everyone that's resting here. My name is Dalen, and again, I come in peace, love, and respect. And I come to resting communities like this, and I try to communicate with those who may not have been spoken with in a long time. The Mark family, Randolph family. So this seems to be like a family-owned cemetery. Look at everybody over here is from the Mark family. Everybody over here is from the Mark family. Mark. Literally everyone over here, Mark. Huh. I wonder who are the Marks and the Brandos. Elsie Mark. Ooh, Elsie, you was 99, girl. You almost hit 100. Arthur got on up out of here at 58. Elsie lived another 42 years. Golly. Here's an infant, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Chas Mark. Here's Milton Mark. He was like 17. Wilma Mark Wise Bronze. She kept that Mark in her name, though, didn't she? That's interesting. Oh, here's some pictures of some Marks. Chuck and Johnny. Charles Mark and Joanna Mark. Oh, she's still living. Joanna, girl, you still living. What up, Charles? Charles looked like he was a good guy. Y'all, let's look up the Marks. Who were the Marks? Oh, here goes some more Marks with their photos on them. What's up, Russell and Connie? What's up, Russell? Thank you for your service. Connie, you hitting her with the tongue smile? She hitting her with the... Look at her. That's funny. Let's see who else we have. from the Mark family. We got Betty, we got Walter, and we got Peggy. What's going on, Miss Betty? Look at Walter. Look at Walter. What's up, Walter? Hey, Peggy. Peggy was 19. Peggy, you passed away when you was 19. I hope you're resting well. Here's her resting space right here. Daughter, Peggy Lee Mark, 1946 and 1965. This marker was placed by her friends. Hope you're resting well, Peggy. There was members of the Lions Club, the American Legion, Fire Department. All right. How would y'all want to be resting next to? Are they resting here? Or is this just a marker for future? Because I don't see no. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Beautiful couple. But I'm curious, are they still alive? Maybe? I don't know. All right, y'all. Well, everybody resting here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your peace. And thank you for your life. I'm here to speak with someone in particular. I'm not sure who just yet, but I'm about to speak with this beautiful young lady here who has family resting here. So if you all can help facilitate that conversation, it would truly be appreciated. And when I say facilitated, I mean allow the conversation to happen with the people we're trying to have the conversation with. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Graveyard Shift family. Let's get to it. That's interesting. Let's meet our shifter, Sharon Rose. All right, Graveyard Shift family. Here we are with Miss Sharon. Yeah, Miss Sharon. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing really, really well. So tell me, Sharon, how long have you been a part of our Graveyard Shift family or community?
Since you guys started, I think.
Really,
Yeah.
really. So a couple years now.
Yeah.
So do you believe in the, I guess in spirits and the idea of spirits and?
I believe sometimes, people get stuck. Maybe they die violently and they're quick. They died too quick or they weren't finished. I do believe that they do come back, and I do believe in guardian angels too. So.
Have you ever had an experience with a spirit or?
Several times.
Okay.
I know that they've been around.
Okay. Now, would you consider yourself as a paranormal investigator, or
No,
you're just
God.
not at all?
No.
That's not even, you don't do investigations.
I don't have time for it.
Yeah. So what are you looking for out of this experience today? Not necessarily the story, but are you looking to?
I want closure, and if my family can give it to me right now, I'll know where to look for my sister that's been missing since 1977.
Okay, so who's resting here?
My mother, my father, and my brother.
Okay. So not the person that you're interested in speaking with.
Right.
You're trying to speak to your family to see if they have.
They'd know better than I would. They're on the other side now, so they'd know, right?
Okay. So that makes sense. So what's the story then?
The story is we moved from Chicago in 1971 to Frankfort, Illinois, because times were changing in Chicago, and Frankfurt was a beautiful place to live. It was all rural, it was a small town, and everything was real close by, everybody knew each other, and you could get a job real quick up there. And we had my brother, my 2 sisters, and myself. We moved into Frankfurt February 71. I was just a baby, and the kids went to junior high, and then they went to Lincoln Way High School. And there's a big space gap with the family members. Like, some were born in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. So I'm the baby, and I got to see everything.
Right.
So my sister, long story short, she wanted to be a police officer. The older siblings were doing things that they shouldn't have been getting involved with, and she turned in the people that were dealing the drugs to them.
Wait, so
Yeah.
your older sister
Mm-hmm.
turned in the drug dealers that was dealing to your other
Brother
siblings?
and sister, yeah.
Okay, and how old was your older sister at this point?
She was in her 20s, so as was my brother, because they're a year apart, and April was 15, 16 years old when she started noticing what was going on.
Okay.
And then we have a half-sister that was born in the 50s, who was involved with all that too. And it's like, April went into town, and the last place anybody saw her was in front of Gracie's bar, because she was underage. Our older sister was bartending there that night, and a gentleman walked out, and that's the last time they saw my sister.
So how old was she at this time?
She just turned 17.
And she's the one that reported everybody, or your.
Yep.
Okay, so at 16, 17,
She
reported some drug dealers.
15, 16, she reported them. She lied and said she lived at the Pacific Garden Mission. She was staying at her grandparents' house. Yeah. And then she came back for a little bit, and she was gone.
So you guys don't know if she was kidnapped or if she was something worse, that she just literally disappeared in thin air.
That's right.
And what year was this?
1977.
So she's been gone since 1977 without a trace.
A week before I turned 7.
Do you remember any of that time, even though you were so young?
Yeah, I've got a photographic eidetic memory. I remember everything. I remember things that I thought everybody else did.
Like, what's something specific you remember about that day that you guys found out that your sister was missing?
Well, it was Easter Sunday, and it was also our dad's birthday. And all the railroad guys and their wives, the regular people that used to come to our house, were there. Just, that's just the way it was. Holidays, birthdays, anything. These were the same people. They were a tight group. And she was going to go into town to see her friend. She called her friend up in the back room with my mom's phone. My mom had a personal phone in her room. And the girl said, I can't, it's Easter, She said, all right, whatever. And I go, well, you get to stay now, right? And she goes, no, I'm going to go into town. I go, no, stay, everybody's here. She's like, no. She goes, and I go, can I go with? And she goes, no. She goes, I just want to go see Deb. So she went and left. I was crying. And the last time I saw her, she was at the bottom of the stairs. And I looked at her and I go, I love you. She goes, I love you too. I'll be back. And she shut the door and I never saw her again.
So how long after she turned them in to the police did something happen to her?
I don't know. I'd say about 6 months.
About 6 month time span.
Yeah, we had a car parking out in front of the house. Our dad worked at night for the IC, and it was weird. It was a Grand Prix black tinted windows. They didn't have that unless they specially ordered it. My mom came in, checked on us because we shared a room, and April was sitting on the edge of the bed, just sitting there biting her nails. And my mom goes, "What are you doing?" She goes, "There's somebody out there." And my mom looked, and there it was, just sitting out there. My mom called the cops. The minute the cops were called, that car was gone.
So your sister, after she reported these drug dealers, started becoming paranoid that somebody was hanging around, following her, or looking to maybe hurt her. So did she ever say anything that she was concerned about somebody might be trying to hurt her?
Yeah, that's why she was living at her grandparents' house for a while. And, and then school started. She had to come back,
Because, yeah, she's like in the 10th grade. Okay, so then what happened? So did the police ever investigate any of the
Well,
people, or?
she had curfew violations for being out past curfew in Chicago. If you didn't live there and you were underage, guess what? We're going to take you down to the station. Our dad would have to go down and get her. Same thing with Will County. She got caught walking down LaGrange Road by Hickory Creek. She was underage. They took her down to Kankakee for juvenile. So she had a court date for both court, Will County and Cook County. My mom had to contact both of the the state's attorney's offices to let them know she didn't come home. You know?
Yeah.
And it really upset the heck out of my mom.
So did the police ever investigate anything? Did they ask any questions? Did they question the guys who she turned in?
I don't know what they did. I just know that when she turned 18, Frankfurt failed to call Chicago Police Department, 11th and State, to tell them that she was still missing, and all the fingerprints and profile pics were destroyed.
Wow.
Yeah. Convenient, huh?
So
Yeah.
what did your parents do moving forward without any help from the police department?
My mom and dad never gave up. My brother didn't either. My brother was on the wrong side of law. But my brother, a lot of people liked him, you know, and he did whatever he could. He was in jail when this happened. And I never knew, and he was always protective of me, even when he literally went to prison later on. But he had people watching me. It was kind of weird. I hated it. But I knew it was him. But God bless him for doing it. But, you know, in 1992, it was December. It's right before he passed away. He goes, I go, what do you think, you know, about this? You know, we spent Christmas together, and he said, you know, Sharon, I don't know. He goes, but I'll tell you one thing. He goes, if I wasn't in jail, she might still be here. And he never forgave himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never. And people were afraid of him. And I guarantee you, if anybody had touched him or touched her, any of us, he would have came down on him like a ton of bricks, because that was my brother. He didn't care, you know. And yeah, he never forgave himself. So I kind of think that maybe his demons haunted him. He was like, if I hadn't been in jail, she'd still be here.
So she turned in some drug dealers that was selling to your brothers and sisters. Did your brothers and sisters ever go question them about it?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
In fact, it was funny, because when this was going on, my mom kept calling Frankfurt Police Department. She felt like she was bothering them. And they were like, don't call us, we'll call you. The Frankfurt cops would come by our house, let my mom know we're still looking, we're keeping our ear to the pavement. You know, there was nothing wrong with any of the officers on our force. We all knew them. They were our friends. We felt safe. They did their patrol. We knew them by name. We went to school with their kids. They were good families, you know. And, you know, when they would come by, they'd say, how you hanging in there? Just to let us know, you know. Then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. My mom contacted Child Find, and they said, we need the police report. Well, she had made a report the minute she didn't come home. Well, in the end of it, they had an officer come over there, and he said, well, don't you think it's kind of funny that you're just now reporting her missing in 1982? My mom's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
You know? And it's like, I don't even know this officer, because he was new on the force. I was like, you can't talk to my mom like that. And he goes like this. And that's what I'm talking about, Mrs. Zane. That little kid right there is epitome. Your kids are out of control.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, get out. It's 11 or 12 years old, and I told him to leave. Don't talk to my mother like that. And, you know.
So then, Sharon, let me ask you this. So,
I got reprimanded for that. Don't talk to an officer like that.
Yeah.
That's my mother.
So what do you feel like you're looking to get out of this session potentially?
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you, Dalen, since I was 15 years old, I've been looking for my sister since I was old enough. I mean, I really have been looking for her. I've gone out of state with a car before I could drive. I did with a couple of my friends. We took off of a lead from the Child Find posters out in Myrtle Beach, you know, South Carolina. And I'll tell you something. That was so long ago. And I kept going, and I kept going. And, you know, the hardest thing about this whole thing is my mom would say, you know, do you think I'll ever see her again? You know, in my heart, because, you know, I'll tell you, right when this all happened, when I was a little kid, I got up one night. I sat right up in my bed. I could hear her screaming. I had a dream. I said, oh no. And I knew we were never going to see her again. I didn't tell my mother that. I just, I couldn't breathe after that. I was like, wow. It just jolted me out of bed. I was a little kid.
And that's when you felt like you knew that your sister had passed away? Like it was confirmed with you at
With
that
me,
point?
and I didn't have I couldn't tell my mom that.
Yeah.
And so, I would lie to her and I'd say, you know what, Mom, they didn't find a body. I said, there's always hope. And I said, I think we'll find her. I knew in my heart, but I kept trying. I've gone into places that grown men that are armed wouldn't go into, looking for her.
Yeah.
Looking for her.
Yeah.
Going through garbage, landfills, whatever they are. I have gone through crushed up autos, looking around in the junkyards, looking in the creek beds, looking in Sag River. I've gone everywhere. And you know what? I think now it doesn't even matter who, you know what? I don't even care who did it or who was involved. I want to bring my sister home and have her buried. I think she should be given rights, and she should be buried in consecrated ground. And I think what I want from this is closure.
Right.
I think she belongs with her family. I'll pray for the people that were involved in this, but I'm praying for her. God knows where she's at.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Ms. Sharon, I always tell people before we do anything like this, you just have to understand that we don't know who we're contacting, right?
I know.
We set our intentions of who we want to speak with and who we think that we're speaking to, but we never 100% know who or what we may be contacting.
You never know out here.
yeah, period, right?
Yeah, not kidding.
And so I ask that with this experience, you keep an open mind, but also just, keep your level of expectations.
I'm not going to get my hopes up. And, but still, no, this is what you have to do sometimes in order to get some form of closure. These are the extremities that you have to go to sometimes. And I think that if I can get something out of somebody, because they're on the other side now, they all know. I'm sure she's with them now.
Yeah,
but I don't know, and that's the problem.
And you're just looking for that sense of peace.
Yeah, because my quality of life changed the minute this happened. I didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
They put me under glass, and that was it. I had everything I wanted, but not normally.
Are your other siblings around? Are they?
No, everybody's gone but me.
So you're the last one still here, and you want that closure.
Yeah, I think that would help me just be able to just go on. I had to catch myself raising my kids that I wasn't too overprotective. Oh, you can't go anywhere. I let them have normal lives, but I wasn't far from I shot.
Yeah.
But I didn't make it so they knew I was there.
Right.
And, but I keep an eye on them, and it's a heck of a way to have to live. But this was like a small town. I think there was 1,500 back then.
So it happened in this area?
Well, we're from Connecticut Hills section, so yeah, this is Green Garden. This is an annex of Frankfurt. It's unincorporated. Frankfurt's that way. And it's all industrialized now. It doesn't look anything like it used to.
Yeah. So would it have been easy back then to take someone, or?
Yeah, because teenagers used to hitchhike to get everywhere they wanted to go. Now, as far as her going to Chicago, we had a train pass because our dad worked for the IC. We all could ride on the train all day long for free.
Yeah.
And we had fun.
Yeah.
I know I did when I was a teenager. I took off all the time.
So you feel like she could have hitchhiked, and she could have been.
She could have, but that's not what I think happened. I think she walked into town through we had a little path from Route 45 that cut through a cornfield past the old folks home, and in the center of town, it was like the 1800s charm. That's what they used to call it, and everything was right there. You had a pizza parlor, you had the bowling alley, you had Gracie's Bar on the opposite side of the street. You had a museum, just little town.
Yeah.
And before any of this was here, they used to have a trolley that used to run right through the town.
Right.
A long time ago, way before our time. But
so what do you think happened?
I think that, honestly, I think, in all honesty, I think our older sister knows exactly what happened to her, because when my mom was sitting there crying, she laughed at her. Laughed at her. Oh, are you still on that? That's a reaction you give to somebody who, yeah. I never forgot that.
How old was your older sister at that time?
I see, she was 5 years older than April.
Okay, so she was like 19, 20.
No, so April was, let's say, 17.
Oh, 18, 21, 22.
She's 22, married and out of the house.
So you think she knew the whole time what happened to your
knew,
sister?
I think she knew who got her, and kept her mouth shut because she was afraid they were going to come for her next.
Was she one of the people that was buying drugs from the drug dealer who your sister turned in? Okay. And she's no longer living either? Is she resting here?
No.
Okay. You didn't have the best of relationships with her?
No, because how can you laugh at your mother?
Yeah.
I just waited till I grew up and, pretty much confronted her several times about it.
And what did she say?
I've offered her money. Tell me, where's she at? She hung up the phone. When our brother died, she had the nerve to call up the house wanting to talk to Dad the next day. And I said, Dad's not here right now. I said, what do you want? I go, you saw the layout for our brother. And they didn't get along either, I said, so you smell money. Well, so I paid for that. Mom and Dad don't have any more money. The bank is in, it's closed. Yeah. And I said to her, but I got it. And I go, and if you want some, I said, I'll be glad to give it to you, all of it. Tell me where she's at. She hung up the phone. She's done that to me twice in a lifetime.
Really? And how long has it been since she's passed away?
2017. Yeah. And I've been doing this since I was, 15 years old. My parents died when I was 32. My brother was gone when I was 22. Our half-sister died same year as my brother. And this is what I got left.
Yeah.
And like I said, my dad used to believe that they'd be able to communicate with people.
He did believe
that?
He
did believe it. Nova showed it. There was a show named Nova. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Mm-mm.
I used to have to hold the rabbit ears because Channel 2 didn't come in.
Right.
And he's like, you hold that right now. And he goes, look in the mirror. And I'm looking at the mirror. He goes, can you see the TV? And I go, yes, Dad, I can see it, because there was a mirror behind our couch. Yeah. He goes, do you see that? And here's a corpse laying out on a gurney, and it showed an orb leaving the body.
Really?
Yeah. And he goes, that's pure energy, just like Jesus, and da-da-da-da. And we're all made of energy. And he goes, and you can't destroy it. It's got to go somewhere.
So you feel like he would be one to communicate if he could?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Him and my brother. I don't know so much my mother.
So your mother, your father, and your brother are all buried here?
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone but your sister?
All right.
And why is she not buried here?
Because I can't find her. Oh, the other one? No.
So you made the decision not to bury her with your family?
Well, she's an adult. She had kids. They were welcome to. But they didn't want to do that. They cremated her, so.
And your anguish towards her, is that the right word?
Anger.
That too. But does it come just solely from your belief that she may have some involvement or some knowledge and the laughing at your mother? That's where all of
No, I've seen her set up other people in the family. Like my brother, she got him in trouble. There's a lot of times he didn't need help getting in trouble. Trust me, like I don't need help eating chocolate. And she set him up a couple times, and he got arrested for it. And I was there. She always believed in him. Little kids don't pay attention. I saw everything.
Yeah.
I never missed anything. Right. That's the thing. I was like a little tape recorder, and I would watch. I didn't understand it one day until the cops went and got my brother out of the bowling alley. They arrested him for having a bag of weed on his. And back in the 70s, you couldn't do that. I guess you can't do it now, but back then it was a big thing. And they found it in the front seat of his car. She's the one that threw it in there.
Your sister.
And then called the police and said, I think he's up there if you need him for anything, but I think there's drugs in his car.
What?
Then she called my dad and said, Billy's in trouble. So she could
She
score.
orchestrated
right.
everything. And you think she could have done something similar?
I think she would have. She owed for drugs, sell your sister. Yeah, that's the kind of person I thought she was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because she didn't do a damn thing to help look for her. I remember being that little kid sitting in the back of my dad's car, and I'll tell you something, watching the anguish in his eyes and watching my mom look out the window. Any girl that looked like April from behind her, walking, with the long hair, she'd scream, April, and the girl would turn around. It wouldn't be her. My mom's heart would be broke all over again.
Oh, my God.
My dad would go to the local police station showing her picture, like Blue Island, Orland Park, Robbins. He went everywhere with her picture. Have you guys seen her anywhere? She's still missing. That's what my dad would do. Now,
Up until they passed away?
Yeah. Yeah, and then right after they passed away, I had my half-sister's daughter write a letter saying that she heard the story. Now she heard it, but she wrote this letter to the Frankfurt police while the estate was still going on, saying that my mom killed my sister and my dad buried her in the backyard. Now,
Who stated that?
this is my half niece. I guess she's my half sister's daughter. And here I thought to myself, how could you write something like that? Number one, you weren't even born yet. Number two, you don't know my family. And number three, why didn't the cops tear up the yard? Well, I still had the property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
they knew it was BS. And then I said, if anybody, and then I've had comments made, well, a lot of people did think it was your parents. Well, then why did you leave a little child in the house with somebody like that?
Right, if y'all did believe that it was a parent.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of conspiracies going on around what could have happened to your sister.
Deflecting from what really happened.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Well, I say we go over here.
It just doesn't make any sense, Dalen.
No, I'm just as baffled as you are. I didn't know we were walking into all of that.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize to me.
That's why
I didn't mean to drop that on your front door. But no. As you were talking, I was like, dang, something happened to your sister, and I can understand the desire to want to know. But then you open up the can of worms of how you feel like your other sister could be
Sure
involved,
she
and how
She
she's
knew,
sinister.
This is why I think she's like that, because she knew Billy was in jail. My mom was a private person. When my brother got in trouble, it was an embarrassment. She didn't go broadcasting my son's in jail, but somebody knew he was in jail.
Yeah. Okay, let me get my equipment. Let's go over here and set up, and let's ask some hard questions.
I'm sorry I dropped that.
No. Are you, Sharon? Are you sorry you dropped it on me? You did it very comfortably. No, I'm just playing. This is what we're here for. This is what we're here for. And this is why I don't like knowing the story before I get here, because I don't want any preconceived. I don't want to be thinking on it and mustering on it on the way here and putting my opinion in 2 cents. I like hearing it real time, just like everybody else, and then asking these questions. So I just hate that your family had to go through something like that.
That's the worst part.
That's the worst part.
My mom and dad never gave up looking for her. They went to their graves not knowing. And right before my mom slipped into whatever it was, her coma, and then she passed away, she goes, you know what, you're the only one that never heard me. That's a hell of a thing for a mother to have to say to her kid.
Wow. Wow.
I don't know. I just said, you're not supposed to hurt your mother now.
No, never, ever.
But it broke her heart. And you know what? Right after Billy died, and then, my half-sister passed away, I had to do everything I could to keep my mom up. You know how it is. You try to protect your parents when you get older. It's funny.
Right.
The rules change. But, she lost 3 kids.
Yeah.
It is what it is,
Okay, Miss Sharon, we are here at the Zane family plot. And you said, so this is your father, mother, and brother.
That's correct.
So Theodore was your father, Rose was your mother, William was your brother.
Yeah.
So I think I walked right past here and spoke to everybody when I first walked in and didn't know that's who we were coming to speak with. And so this is your sister.
Yes.
This is April Rose Zane, 1960 to 1977. Stolen from my life, still remains in my heart, Sharon Rose. So what's the significance of all the roses?
I don't know. My mom's name's Rose. It's just my daughter has part of her name Rose. I wrote on the back to them when I designed the headstone. The funeral home got the dates wrong, and I had a fit about that, but they never did anything about it. On the back, I wrote, thanks for everything you gave me, your sacrifices, your love, but most of all, your precious time, Sharon Rose. I mean, I guess it's just tradition. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
But that's what my mother's name was, so.
Wait, so your mother and father died 4 days apart?
Yeah.
How did they die 4 days apart?
He came home to take care of my mom. He was at the hospital. They said he had a blood clot in his leg, and he goes, I got to go home and take care of my wife, make an appointment for me. And the doctor tried to tell him, you can't do that. You tell my dad no. He went home to take care of my mom. She was a diabetic. He gave her insulin. And the next day, he didn't wake up. And then 4 hours after we had the coroner take my dad out, she fell out of the shower, broke her hip, and died 4 days later.
What?
Right in front of me, yeah.
What?
They did everything together. Why not that? You know, I think he came back and got her.
So how did your brother pass?
He died of a drug overdose.
Okay. And then your older sister, how did she pass?
I have no idea. Oh, this one?
No.
Liz, the one on the bottom. My half sister died of multiple sclerosis.
No, the one that you feel like
Oh,
had
I
something
have
to
no
do.
idea.
Okay. Okay.
I stay away from trouble.
Got you. So you didn't go to her funeral or anything?
Absolutely not.
Okay. If you ever found out she did not have anything to do with your sister's disappearance, could you forgive her?
Oh, absolutely. It wouldn't have been her fault. I would have asked her for forgiveness, but
Okay, so can I ask you a real question?
Mm-hmm.
So you're harboring these emotions based off something that you don't know 100% for sure. Do you feel like that's, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm
She's
just,
bartending the night the last time anybody saw her. Why didn't she tell my mom and dad that, or the police that? Why didn't she tell a Will County deputy that she wasn't related to us, that she was just a distant cousin?
right.
That Zane was a common name. Zane in Germantown is not a common name. We're the only family out here with that last name.
Right. So you just feel like there's just too much shady stuff going on for her not to have.
She didn't lift a finger to. She has 5 years on me. She could have been out there looking for her sister. Why did it take me till 1985 to start looking for anybody to do anything? That doesn't make any sense to me. If my baby sister was missing, I would have been out hitting the bricks every day.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
And then you said Liz is who?
My half sister. She died same year as my brother.
How did she pass?
Multiple sclerosis.
Got you. Wow. So you lost literally everybody. It's just you.
My brother and I were the tightest ones
Yeah.
out of the bunch. We always got on right. We were friends. He was my best friend. I could tell him anything. He never judged me, and he didn't go blabbing. And he knew that I had his back too, and he protected me even though I didn't know he was doing it. You know, if he couldn't keep an eye on me, he had other people watch me and made sure I was all right. So.
Do you think he's still watching you?
Oh yeah, I think he's keeping an eye on my kids now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's set it up then, Sharon.
Sure. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you sharing your story with us. Now to the Zane family. Again, I know you heard me introduce myself when I walked up, but again, my name is Dalen. I come in peace, love, and respect. And I'm here with your daughter and sister, Sharon. She has some questions for you. I mean, we all know what you all have been going through while you were alive and what Sharon Rose here is going through now, currently, alone. She just wants answers. So we would love to hear from you all. All right. All right. Miss Sharon, is there anything you would like to say to your family before we start?
Yeah, hold on a minute. Mom, Dad, this is my friend Dalen. Billy, this is Dalen, and he came all the way up here from Georgia or Texas to help me get some answers. I know you're on the other side, and I know you guys know what happened in April. if you guys could come through, tell me where her remains are. Tell me where I can find her. I'd be greatly appreciative. Let me know if I was right. That's all I want. And be kind to, Dalen. He's not a stranger. He's a friend.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, Miss Sharon, it's a little windy out here, so we have to speak a little loud.
Okay.
So, y'all, if it sounds like we're yelling, we apologize. It's only because it's windy.
You will listen to us.
Yeah. So I promise you, Mr. Theodore, Miss Rose, Mr. William, we are not yelling. We just want to make sure that the camera can hear us. Okay. So I'm going to start this spirit
Hold
box.
on 1 minute. Hey, Dad, you know how you sat there and said that one day we'd be able to talk electronically to people? This is what Dalen does. All those years later, this is what's going on. So, yeah, there you go. Right. We all thought he was crazy back then.
Right,
Just so you know.
All right, here we go. You know what's crazy? This iPad was fully charged. Now it's not. So we're going to see. And if not, we're just going to stop it charging.
That's crazy.
All right. Mr. Theodore, Miss Rose, Mr. William, is anyone here that would like to speak to us? Whoever is here, can you tell us your name, please? I heard Rose.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Miss Rose, is anyone else with you? Who said me? What's your name? Okay, Miss Rose, you said you're here. Your daughter has a few questions for you. Do you mind answering them? Okay. Miss Rose, what are your questions?
Mom, I'd rather talk to Bill, but no offense, because Billy would be on either side. I know that he goes places where he's not supposed to. Let me ask you a question, Mom. Are you with April right now?
Miss Rose, the question is, are you with April right now? I heard right here.
Is Billy with you, Mom?
I heard praise the Lord. Would Billy might or might not have been over there? Wherever she is.
He was something else. He might touch on both sides. His teeth protect that,
Okay, what's your next question?
Dad, have I looked in the right places for April?
Her telling.
Figure.
Yeah.
Miss Rose or Mr. Theodore? Mr. Theodore, are you here?
Dad, are you here?
Okay.
That's weird.
So what's your next question?
I don't know what else to say. Who was involved with her disappearance?
Or do they know what happened to her?
Yeah, that's what I'll ask.
Miss Rose, do you know now what happened to your daughter April? Her walkie-talkie. It's almost as if they know, but they're contemplating letting you know what
You guys
happened.
got to let me know. I'm not having any rest. I never quit looking for her. And you guys got to quit protecting me and have a little bit of knowledge that I've got a lot of you in me, Dad. I got a lot of you in me, Mom. And you know what? I've gone through a lot. And this would be nothing more than another thing that happened. I really need to know the truth so I can go about my life knowing where to look, what happened, so I can go about my day. Until we all meet again.
So, Mr. Theodore, Mrs. Rose, can you please tell us, do you know what happened to April?
Right? Repiten. Puedes. Sí.
It died.
Something made up the energy of that.
It died. It died. Let me charge it for a minute.
All right.
But it died. That makes me wonder, like, right then with that question, it feels like they don't want to.
You got to tell me, Dalen.
I understand. Let me
What
cut
am I supposed to do?
Right.
They have to tell me. But I wonder what ate up your battery, all the energy coming through.
The iPad was fully charged.
That's crazy.
Sharon's giving them a pep talk. She really wants answers. And I don't blame her. That's something heavy. She was 7 years old when she found out that her sister was missing. That was in the 70s. We're in 2025 now. It's just wild how something that can be so monumental in your life that it affects every element of your life. She said it even affects the way that she raises her kids. She getting them together though. She said, let me go yell at them real quick. Y'all thought she about to put her hands on them. Don't put your hands on them, Sharon. Don't put your hands on them, Sharon. They gonna talk to us. No. She just wants answers. So I wasn't trying to be rude, but I was videotaping you over there.
Oh Lord.
What was that conversation like?
I just told him you can't protect me anymore. You haven't been here since I was 32. You know, you raised me right. You raised me with moral values. You raised me with, you know, a drive. And my entire life has been looking for my sister. I never lived up to my expectations.
You don't feel like you lived up to your
No, I
expectations?
never really did. I never did.
And do you feel like it's a direct response to what happened to your sister?
Yeah, I think it was. I always feel like something held me back. And because I've looked everywhere for her. You wouldn't believe. I've been up to here in water, crossing a creek to get to the other side where people thought she was, you know, in Joliet. I mean, and the water was cold.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've been everywhere. I've been in Kankakee. You know, I've been everywhere. Wisconsin, Ohio, anywhere where she could have possibly have been.
Do you ever think that you've ever gotten close?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So an interesting thing that we were discussing when the iPad died was it was fully charged. I charged it this morning before I left Atlanta. I charged it on the way here in the car. It was fully charged. And right before it died, I said it felt like they were discussing back and forth if they should tell you.
And we were standing right there.
Yeah.
I'm like, hello.
Yeah, we
That's
hear
how
you.
it was my entire life.
Oh.
They would just act like I wasn't there. They'd make decisions for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sitting right here.
And then when we asked that question, the iPad died. And so we were discussing if maybe that was them trying to prevent you again from finding out the truth. And for what reason could that be? Why would they not want you to know?
Don't look at me like that, Dalen.
No, I'm saying.
Back in the day,
Now, Sharon, now you can look at this camera just like I can look at this camera. You can see that you were not in the camera. She all over you. That's how you know somebody about to say something incriminating. They get off the camera.
Back in the day,
Sharon, you gotta scoot on in now.
Right.
You gotta act like you like me now. Okay, there we go.
Just
Now
adore you.
we on a date at the drive-in.
Yes, you poor guy. Back in the day, I was very protective of my family. I've always been protective of my friends. I'm protective of any kind of a person, even if it's a stranger. If I see somebody being victimized, I'll jump on them.
Yeah.
And I think that after all the hell I've been through personally from this disappearance, and nobody giving a damn, that just aggravates me even more. What ticks me off even further is when people say, oh, just let it go. You know, this is a 17-year-old girl we're talking about here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Can you imagine?
Yeah.
And what gets me is when I look at my kids, or I look at somebody with their daughters or their sons, you know, it's like being in a mall parking lot. Back in the day, the malls used to be packed all the time because we didn't have anything to do. Picture that mall and all the cars being gone. That's how many people are missing in the United States alone that are teenagers. Just teenagers. You don't just drop off the face of the earth. Now, granted, you know, whoever might have been responsible for this, they're probably already dead. And if they're not, you know, you got to meet your maker.
Right.
That's up to God.
Right.
You know what I mean? You.
What's
I
that?
videotape you when you were walking around.
I know, right?
But, you know, my parents were always protective of me, and they sheltered me, and they kept me away from, you know, the bad things in life. But you know what? And later on, that's creepy.
We hope that's a horse.
Yeah. That would have been scary. Later on in life, because they sheltered me so much, you know, I made a lot of bad decisions in people because I thought all people were good.
Yeah.
I thought all people were loving people. I looked at the way my dad treated my mom, and you know what? I thought every guy was like that. What a mistake.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I don't know. I just, you know, I look at people now, and I can see good in them. And even if somebody's done something bad in their past, it's how they treat me. No matter what anybody says about them, or no matter what they're wearing, or how much money they have, or what they don't have, how they treat me is how I treat them. And, you know, if I like a person, I like them off the bat.
Yeah.
But if I get a funny feeling about somebody, I keep my eye on them, whether they know it or not. And I do.
Right.
It's just the way I protected myself all these years, you know?
So we're in the car now charging the iPad. So I have it on the charger.
Yeah, and they were told.
Yeah, and your family is resting literally right over here.
I don't know if they're resting right now, but you know what I mean?
Right. So maybe we can ask some questions from here. Because I'm sure they can hear us from here. But let me try this
they
other
float
box.
all over the place, don't they?
Yeah, listen. I don't know how they. You said what?
I think they can go anywhere.
I do too.
I think you could ask them anything, anywhere, but
I do too. I just feel like it's a little bit. I feel like the connection's a little bit stronger when you at the place where they were last placed. I don't know. That's just in my mind, and it just and it adds to the colorfulness of the storytelling when you're actually visiting something that's personalized to them, as opposed to just being out. Okay, so Theodore, Rose, and William, can you guys hear me through this app? Yes. Okay. Can you tell me the name of the person I'm speaking with? Who in Miss Sharon Rose's family am I speaking to? We have some questions, but we would like to make sure that we're speaking to someone in Mrs. Sharon's family. Hang on. Now, who are we speaking to? Her leave.
No. Dad. What's your name? Mom, are you still here?
Here, let me go back to the one we were using before.
Okay.
It seems like sometimes we contact maybe different people.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them here.
Yeah. So let's try again. Is anyone here from Mrs. Sharon's family? Okay. Now, does anyone in Mrs. Sharon's family, do you know what happened to April? Miss Sharon would just like to know the truth so she can find peace. Can you tell us what happened to April? Are you with her now?
Bill.
Where, Bill? Did they call your brother Bill? So is Bill with April? Yes. Do you have a question?
Can you tell me what happened to her?
Bill, can you tell your sister what happened to April? Why won't you all tell your sister what happened to April?
Rosemary.
Rosemary's here. I got a question. Out of all the places that I've looked for her, was I close to where she was?
Was Miss Sharon ever close to finding April? Is there a reason why you all don't want Miss Sharon to know the truth?
Let me ask you this. Was it somebody that I knew, that we all knew? Did I know who this person was that did this to her?
No. I heard it was.
Are they still alive? I say no, they just died.
Is the person that hurt April still alive?
Okay, I got a question. Here's my question. I'm going to rope this one in real quick. Y'all know what I think, and you know who I think was involved or knew what happened. Was I right?
What is it that you thought?
I thought we had a family member that knew exactly what happened to her.
You mean your sister?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Everyone knows. That's what it says. This is why.
Everyone knows. And you know what? You don't have to worry about the name getting dragged through the mud or whatever. Who had something to do with this? That's what I would like to know. What do you think they
Did Sharon's, what was your sister's name? Your older sister?
Deborah.
Did Deborah have any knowledge of what happened to April?
All those
I forget it.
Rose told me. Rose is your mother, right?
Yeah, my mom had no idea what happened to her. She went out of her mind. Did Deborah have something to do with this? Or know who did?
It hurts something. I'm interested in going back and hearing all of this and like listening to it. A lot of stuff we won't catch, most stuff we won't catch in real time with our naked ear. It's not until I go back and put headphones on and re-listen to it and interpret what's being said. So just because you don't hear anything right now or it's hard to make it out doesn't mean something isn't being said.
I kind of wonder if my mom thought the same thing I did and didn't say anything because she didn't want to lose that kid too.
Let's see. Miss Rose, is that true? So then that will hurt the family?
She was only not her. I know you didn't do it, Mom. I'm asking a question. Are you trying to protect?
Should ask.
Are you trying to protect somebody else in the family? One of the other kids? Can anybody tell me what town her remains are in?
I see. Paranormal.
What's your older sister's name again?
Deborah. My half-sister was Liz. She died in Wisconsin. We're all estranged from each other. Like I said, my brother and I were really two that stuck by each other. And then he was gone. You know, he spent a lot of time in prison, and you know, when he came out, he couldn't believe I grew up, and it broke his heart. You know? That's what you get when you act like a fool, you know. But him acting like that kept me in check.
Yeah.
I didn't act like him, and you know, I didn't get involved like that. But I know he never lied to me.
Yeah.
And he really felt guilt over what happened to her, and you know, it's too late now. You know, there's nothing anybody can do about it. I just want to know what town I can look in, you know, and get some closure. And if I can't do that, then I got to believe that, you know, God's got this, which I do.
Yeah.
And he's also got the persons responsible for this. I do believe you will, you know, repent for what you did.
Yeah. So the two questions that we have: is there any clue that you can give Miss Sharon to where she can go to maybe find any information about April? Anything that can provide her some type of closure? What area should she look in, or any information? Forget about it.
That's my dad's.
Forget about it.
No. You know I'm not going to.
Can't hold on to this.
It's been my entire life. I need a little bit of closure. You guys know what happened to her. I don't. You know, and that's what I'm angry about. They can't nothing to do.
Well, let me ask y'all this question. The person that is responsible for hurting April, did they ever get their punishment? Did they or will they ever get their karma? Yep.
I don't know what to say.
I can't give a 100% valid opinion without going back and listening, because my initial feelings were they were trying to protect you from something by not informing you. That's what I was getting, but I could have been missing a lot.
I don't know. I kind of wonder if the person that caused it is still alive, and I kind of wonder if I'm ever going to find her. Probably not. You know.
Why do you feel like that was your dad telling you to forget about it?
Because that's his thing. Forget about it. That's what he used to say to me. You know, don't worry about it. You'll be okay. Don't trouble yourself. I got this. That's what he'd say to me. Forget about it. You know, whatever it was. You know, I got it. That's how he was. Meaning he'll take care of it. But that still doesn't help me here. They don't understand, you know, what I go through.
Were they like that when they were living, trying to keep you out of stuff and protect you?
Oh, yeah, they kept me out of stuff. They bought me anything I wanted. I had everything I wanted, but it never replaced people, sleepovers, parties, concerts. They wouldn't let me go to any of them. They were afraid somebody grabbed me too.
Yeah.
You know, because they were in the dark. They were like, they didn't know what kind of people were involved with this. They had no idea. And they weren't going to let anything happen to me, you know. And it's kind of hard to go through life without, you know, like our neighborhood, the kids in our neighborhood, they were pretty cruel to me, you know. And it's like, you know, when I left Frankfurt, I went to Mokina to St. Mary's. You know, people liked me for me, or they didn't like me for me. And I was grateful for that, because it's like this didn't follow me.
Yeah.
You know, But then I went back to Lincoln Way and stuff, and nobody said anything, you know? And so it was forgotten about. And in the meantime, nobody knew what I was doing. I was quiet. I kept to myself. I hung out with my friends and stuff and acted like a fool and whatever, like everybody else did when I got older. But, you know, I kept that from them too. You know, not because I didn't trust my friends. It's just that I just didn't want this following me in my personal life anymore.
Yeah.
You know, because when I got home, I was the one that had to hear my mom crying. I was the one that had to watch my dad, you know, get the calls from the local coroners if they found a Jane Doe. Can we get her dental records? I looked at that man's face and he felt so terrible. You know, I'm the one that sat in the back seat of the car every weekend watching them, you know, look for their kid. And you can't take that away from them. And I can't erase that. That's what I've seen in my entire, you know, childhood. You know, this gone on too long. The girl needs to rest in peace. And, you know, yeah, I know she's with God, but, you know, I'd like to have some closure too.
Right.
You know?
Well, hopefully we got something through the spirit box.
Yeah, I'm surprised my brother didn't come through as much.
Yeah, I mean, he came through. Your mother came through for sure, said her name, and Bill came through and said his name.
Yeah.
So that lets me know that we were trying to contact, you know.
And my dad's name's Ted, so I think I heard that too, but...
Yeah. So, Miss Sharon, I
don't want to take up any more of your time with this.
No, you're not taking, you're not taking, you're not taking up my, you're not taking up my time.
Right.
I was trying to get it right. But no, you're not taking up my time. That's what I came out here for.
I appreciate it,
That's what I came out. I just hate that, again, it just feels like, it sounds like they're trying to keep you from knowing for whatever reason. And I'm curious if they gave that reason in the session.
Yeah, because, you know, like I said, they went out of their minds when that happened. And they didn't let me out of the house. I didn't get out of my yard. I had a walk-in dollhouse my brother and my dad built for me. I had every toy you could imagine. I had the biggest swing set on the block. And they didn't want me to leave the yard. They didn't want me doing anything, you know.
But I mean, can
I
you
get
blame
it.
them?
No,
though?
but when you're a little kid, you don't understand that, you know.
Yeah.
You don't get it, but I appreciate it now. But I mean, they never really, you know, they didn't see what it was doing to me.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that they probably knew any other way.
Yeah, and now after it came out, you know, and I had it on Facebook for a while, you know, I had people that were a little bit older than me, older kids. He said, you know, I always knew that there was something that you weren't saying about. And I was like, what do you mean? You didn't ever talk about this. I just didn't want to follow me anymore. I just wanted to have somewhat of normal, you know, some kind of normal teenage life. And, you know,
Right.
it is what it is.
Let's see if they have anything else to say to you.
All right.
Is there anything else you would like to say to Miss Sharon? Mr. Teddy, do you have anything to say to your daughter? Miss Rose, is there anything you would like to say to your daughter?
Upstairs. Our door is kind of.
William, Billy, is there anything you would like to say to your sister? Her will.
So say he's talking long.
The image switch off.
Point the crowns.
Wrap.
Like, do it.
Okay, I'm gonna go back in.
What do you think? Did you hear anything?
Not with my ear. Not with my ear. But again, that means nothing. That means nothing. So.
Oh, you know what's funny is I picked something up that was on the grave, and it says love, and it's got a rose going through it. I had put that up there like about a year ago, and it was just funny. I just put it up there. It was just down, and I'm like, love, love, love. And I said that to him. I said, come on, you guys got to give me a break.
Yeah.
You know? But,
well, Miss Sharon, don't worry about it. We're going to get this.
it.
No, thank you. I appreciate you. I hate that, in real time, a lot of your questions weren't answered. But again, we never know what's going to happen with these shifts. All we can do is try, and I'm just willing to try as much as you're willing to try. So
yeah, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you for welcoming us into your family and your story. And don't count it out yet. Let's go listen to it, and let's see if we missed what we missed.
Don't keep nothing from me. If you see something, if you hear something that
no, I'm gonna edit this raw footage. I don't take anything out of it, and I'm sure our shifters out there will probably pick up on some stuff that we've missed.
Yeah, and I appreciate them listening and stuff, and it doesn't go away because the story gets older.
Yeah.
Just because it's a cold case doesn't mean it doesn't still affect people.
Right.
Because after I'm gone, I've got kids that it does bother. I've got cousins still that it bothers, and
it's just a cycle.
It just doesn't go away.
Yeah.
I mean, she lived. She mattered.
Right.
She made a mistake. She made a stupid mistake. That's all it was. But when you call on the wrong people and you don't have protection, you know what happens.
Right.
Sometimes it's not good. But I really do appreciate your time.
Of course, Miss Sharon.
And you were so cool.
Oh,
I really appreciate that.
I appreciate you. Again, thank you. And the Graveyard Shift family, please let us know your thoughts in the comment section.
Yes, please. And I really do appreciate you guys listening.
Love, love, love. Catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Graveyard Shift family, don't forget we have our Graveyard Fest 2025 this year, October 3rd and 4th in Savannah, Georgia. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. The majority of the tickets are sold out. But between today and tomorrow, I will be adding more tickets to me and Scotty the Medium's live gallery reading in both nights of our paranormal investigation. So we have the Haunted Sorrel Weed House on Friday and the Haunted Tampa Theater on Saturday. And I probably will add a few more tickets to our shifting experience where me and Scotty take you to a graveyard and show you how to do his medium techniques and how I do my spirit box sessions. So I'm going to add some more tickets, y'all, but head on over to our Eventbrite in the description box. And come out and meet us, kick it with us, y'all. It's going to be about a nice handful of graveyard shifters. So if you want to come out and hang out with me, Scotty, and a few of our family members, come on out to Savannah, Georgia, October 3rd and 4th, 2025. Graveyard Fest 2025. Tickets in the bio. Love y'all.